All right, let's talk about apartment Wi-Fi. You know exactly what I mean. That moment your video call just freezes mid-sentence or your game starts lagging right at a critical moment. If you live in an apartment, you know this struggle is very, very real. Today, we're going to dive into how to tackle that frustrating, invisible battle for bandwidth and finally show you how to win.
So, what is the deal? Why is apartment Wi Fi such a constant battlefield? Well, it's pretty much a perfect storm of interference. Your signal is trying to punch through concrete and floors, and at the same time, it's competing with, dozens, sometimes even hundreds of your neighbors' networks. It's basically a chaotic digital shouting match where everyone is talking at once and your poor connection is the one that's losing out.
But what if you could stop all that fighting and actually start engineering a solution? That's what we're looking at today. There's a professional, really in-depth guide that's basically a blueprint for building a stable, high-performing home network, even if you live in the most crowded Wi-Fi space imaginable.
So, the material we're drawing from for this explainer is a fantastic, comprehensive 10-part tutorial. It's called Reducing Wi-Fi Interference in Apartments by RFI Detectives, who are part of the Virtualization Options LLC family. And just so you know, this guide is really built for the technically savvy user, someone who wants to get past the guesswork and use a real, methodical approach to get their network tuned just right.
Okay, before we even think about touching a single setting, we have to establish the golden rule. The reason this whole approach works so well is because of its core methodology. It's all about making changes you can actually measure and see the results of, instead of just, crossing your fingers and hoping for the best.
And this right here is the most critical point. Come on, let's be honest, we have all been there. You get so frustrated, you log into your router's admin page, and you just start clicking on everything that sounds promising. The problem, that is a recipe for absolute failure. You'll have no idea which of the 10 things you changed actually helped, which one made things worse, and you'll probably have no idea how to get back to where you started. So instead, the guide teaches a simple, professional 3-step method. First, you record your current settings. Before you touch a single thing, save your configuration file, or just take a bunch of screenshots. Create that baseline. Second, and this is the key to the whole thing, you make one change, not two, not three, just one. Maybe you adjust the Wi-Fi channel. And third, you test and verify. Run a speed test. Check your signal strength. Did it improve? Did it get worse? Now you know the exact impact of that one single change.
This quote from the guide really says it all. The goal isn't just to find a quick fix, it's to actually understand your own network. Because if you change everything at once, you've learned absolutely nothing.
Okay, with that golden rule firmly in our minds, let's move on to the tactical roadmap. We're going to do a quick tour through all 10 chapters of the RFI Detectives tutorial just so you can see the full scope of what a real solution looks like. The guide kicks things off right at the beginning. You got to understand the physics of the problem. Knowing how building materials mess with your signal and how all those other networks create interference, that's the first step to crafting a smart solution instead of just taking wild guesses. Next up, you get to be a detective. Chapter 2 shows you how to use free apps on your phone to literally see the invisible Wi-Fi signals all around you. You can map out every neighboring network and find out which channels are the most crowded, and you do all of this before you even log into your router. Now that you've got that data, you can make your first real, informed move, channel selection. The tutorial goes deep on the specific, non-overlapping channels you should be using so you're not talking over your neighbors. It's like finding your own private, clean slice of the airwaves. Now, this is where things get a little counterintuitive. In a jam-packed apartment building, cranking your router's power up to max and using the widest possible channels, that actually makes things worse. It just creates more noise. This chapter explains why less is more is often the smarter play. Of course, it's not all about software settings. Chapter 5 covers the critical and, frankly, often overlooked factor of physical placement. Seriously, just moving your router a few feet can have a massive impact on your signal's clarity. You've seen this, right? Your brand new laptop is stubbornly stuck on the slow, crowded 2.4 gigahertz band, even though that speedy 5 gigahertz network is available. The guide explains why that automatic band steering so often fails and gives you real strategies to force your devices onto that faster highway. Ooh, this is a big one. So many of us immediately reach for a Wi-Fi booster or a mesh system. But in a dense apartment building, these can sometimes just amplify the existing noise and make the interference even worse. The tutorial uncovers these hidden problems and shows you what to do instead. You want to know the best way to reduce wireless congestion?
Get your devices off the wireless network. This chapter is all about the power of using a good old Ethernet cable for stationary things like your TV or gaming console, and then using quality of service settings to prioritize your most critical wireless traffic.
The ultimate goal here is to move as much of your traffic as you can to the much wider, much less congested 5 and 6 gigahertz bands. This chapter walks you through how to make that leap and also how to navigate tricky things like DFS channels, which can cause surprise dropouts if you're not careful. And finally, the guide shows you how to lock it all in with some advanced pro-level settings. Things like using static IP addresses for your most important devices ensures they're always rock solid and easy to manage. It's the final touch on a truly professional-grade home network. So, after going through this whole process, what's the end result? What have you actually achieved? Well, you've gone on a journey. You've gone from a chaotic, unpredictable network to one that is stable, reliable, and specifically engineered for your home. The final takeaway here is a feeling of total network control. You're no longer just at the mercy of whatever your neighbors are doing. By following a methodical process, you can finally put an end to the buffering and lag and build a home network that you can actually depend on for everything you do. And that really brings us to the final question. Following a guide like this one from RFI Detectives, it's about more than just fixing a problem. It's about a total shift in your mindset. So, are you ready to stop guessing and start engineering?